Hey guys, it's Brett. Thanks for dropping by my channel. So middle of December, I was going to come on 2 weeks ago to talk all about what I'm going to read in December. God, I'm really organized. But you know what? Here's the thing. I started reading stuff already. I've gotten through a couple things, which I'll talk about probably in 2 weeks when I do a wrap up for the month before I do my, or after I do my best of the year video. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, let me go over with you the books I really, really still hope to read before this month is over. Okay, so I have 3 books left on my 10 before the end, which I want to get to before the end of the year, obviously, so I can make the challenge. One of them which I already started, which is Mieko Kawakami's All the Lovers in the Night. This is one of 3. The other 2, and I'm enjoying that, by the way. The other 2 is Birnam Woods by Eleanor Catton. This is the one that intimidates me the most, only because it's, you know, rounding out of 400 pages. And I'm like, why did I wait till the end to do this? But here we are. Okay, so this one. And then my last one, oh my gosh, can you hear my bells going off? And then my last one is The Memory of Animals by Claire Fuller, which I actually just downloaded the audio of this to help kind of speed the process along, so I can be, you know, hopefully doing 2 at once. So, wish me luck. I hope if you're doing your 10 before the end, you're close, or you're going to make it, you're going to do it. I believe in you, you can do it. All right, so there's those 3. So, here are the other things that I hope to get to. One is Dolly Alderton's new book, Good Material. I have never read any Dolly Alderton before. However, she is besties with Caroline O'Donoghue, who wrote The Rachel Incident, which is, if you have not read The Rachel Incident, I've talked about it already. It's fantastic. Great book this year. Really fun. And Caroline O'Donoghue, as a person, as an author, is amazing. Incredible. Like, want her to be my best friend. Don't know why she doesn't respond to my... Don't know why she doesn't respond to my text on Instagram, despite the fact that we totally connected when she came on the Gays Reading podcast. So I don't know what that's about, but like, I'm not going to be ignored, Carolyn. That's the thing. I'm not going to be ignored. And I may, you know, I don't know. Anyway, seriously, I'm not crazy. But I've never read any Dolly Alderton. She's really huge in the States, in the UK. And so, this is Every Love Story has one beginning. This one has 2 endings. Andy loves Jen. Jen loved Andy, and he can't work out why she stopped. Now he is 1, sleeping on his mother's sofa, 2, waiting for his stand-up career to take off, 3, wondering why everyone around him seems to have grown up while he's still looking. Andy still has a lot to learn, not least his ex-girlfriend's side of the story. In a completely original feat of crisscross confessions, Dolly Alderton offers up a love story with 2 endings and an act of emotional honesty that will be met with pangs of recognition by anyone navigating modern love. Okay, so there's that. And this comes out in January from Knopf, and thank you, Knopf, for this copy. All right, next up, 10 Bridges I've Burnt by Brontez Purnell, and thank you very much to MCDFSG for this copy. This is a memoir that's told in verse. Do you like I to prove it to you by opening it up? Brontez Purnell, he wrote this book that I really liked called 100 Boyfriends, which I thought was sexy and crass and really interesting. I just find him a really interesting writer. So I'm interested to see what he does with this. And this comes out February 13th, right in time for Valentine's Day. Tusks of Extinction by Nayler, and thank you to Tor for the copy of this. I talked about this before, frankly, because I was so excited to get this because I thought The Mountain and the Sea, his previous book, was fantastic. It was a completely overlooked book. I really thought it was great. And so when this came in the mail, I was like, oh, it's a sample. No, this is the whole book. I've said that before. The joke is old. So really looking forward to this. About Moscow resurrecting a mammoth. So, The Words That Remain. This is by Stenio Gardel. This was the National Book Award winner for translated literature. I don't really follow the translated literature thing that much, but my friend Sarah over on Instagram had messaged me and said, you have got to read this book. So first thing I looked was how many pages it was, because we're at the end of the year. And so I said, I will take that book and read it. So here we are. So excited about this. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. Let me just put on my glasses because eyes are getting bad. A letter has beckoned to Raimundo since he received it decades ago from his youthful passion, handsome Cicero. But having grown up in an impoverished area of Brazil where the demands of manual labor thwarted his becoming literate, Raimundo has long been unable to read. As young men, he and Cicero fell in love, only to have Raimundo's father brutally beat his son when he discovered their affair. Even after Raimundo succeeds in making a life for himself in the big city, he continues to be haunted by the secret missive full of longing for the dimmest past. Now at age 71, he at last acquires a true education and the ability to access the letter. Exploring Brazil's little-known hinterland as well as its urban haunts, this is a sweeping novel of repression, violence, and shame, along with the flip side, survival, endurance, and the ultimate triumph of an unforgettable figure on society's margins. The Words That Remain explores the universal power of the written word and language and how they affect all our relationships. Sounds really good. Okay, I got sent this by Random House. I thought the cover was so cool, so thank you, Random House, for this. It comes out January 9th. It's called My Friends by Hisham, who is a Pulitzer Prize-winning author of The Return. I've never read anything by him. A luminous novel of friendship, family, and the unthinkable realities of exile. The trick time plays is to lull us into the belief that everything lasts forever, and although nothing does, we continue inside our dreams. A devastating meditation on friendship and family and the ways in which time tests and frays those bonds. My Friends is an achingly beautiful work of literature by an author at the peak of his powers. I have no idea, and I got to be honest, this is one of those, like, no less is probably more for me, and I'm hoping to go in and be completely surprised and blown away, much like I am with most books, but I don't know why. This just looks, I think this cover is so cool. All right, so again, January 9th for that. Two more. And I know for those of you out there who are counting, we're at 8 right now, and there's only 2 weeks left. So I'm never going to do this. All right. How We Named the Stars by Ordorica. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. An intimate, necessary story of first love, first lost, and the promise of new beginnings. When Daniel de Luna arrives as a scholarship student at an elite East Coast university, he bears the weight of his family's hopes and dreams and the burden of sharing his late uncle's name. Daniel flounders at first, but then Sam, his roommate, changes everything. As the relationship evolves from brotherly banter to something more intimate, Daniel soon finds himself in love with a man who helps him see himself in a new light. But just as their relationship takes flight, Daniel is pulled away, first by Sam's hesitation and then by a brutal turn of events that changes Daniel's life forever. Equal parts tender and triumphant is How We Named the Stars is a debut novel of love, heartache, redemption, and learning to honor the dead. A story of finding the strength to figure out who you are and who you could be if only the world will let you. Another beautiful cover. Okay, and so the last book what is my finger doing? The last book I wanted to go over comes from Overlook Press, and thank you to Overlook for this. So I was looking in their catalog and came across this book, and I have to just side note to say I've really this year discovered Overlook, and I'm really impressed with so much of their catalog and the books they're putting out, and everything that I've read by them. A lot of them are debuts, and they're all really strong writers with really interesting and concise point of views. Some of them are a little verbose. For example, and I've talked about this before, Foster Date explores the universe. Yet still, I really ended up liking that book, and I'm really glad I stuck with it, despite having to do it with a dictionary because there were so many words I didn't know. But another book that is going to be coming out, Ways and Means, again, fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to this one, which is Eli Harper's Adventure to the Afterlife. First of all, I loved the cover so much, and that's what first drew me in. So it says, a big-hearted novel exploring faith, forgiveness, and sexuality on a rollicking family road trip to Bible world. When Eli Harper was 4, he underwent emergency open-heart surgery, flatlined on the operating table, and briefly went to heaven, or at least that's what his father, a loving but devout Baptist minister, had raised him to believe. 9 years later, Eli isn't so sure. His evangelizing rounds with his father are starting to feel strained. His mother's been diagnosed with cancer, and now he's having sex dreams about Jesus. Eli feels further from heaven than ever, but when a famous televangelist shows up at the Harpers' doorstep with a proposal to create a theme park attraction based on Eli's trip to the afterlife, Eli isn't able to say no. As the Harpers head off on a road trip for Kentucky to Orlando, Eli is left to grapple with not just his faith and his sexuality, but also his parents' messy humanity and what happens when a family held together by myth-making starts coming apart at the seams. Hilarious and touching, Eli Harper's Adventure to the Afterlife is a story about self-discovery and the search for truth wherever it takes you. This sounds batshit crazy, and I'm completely here for it. So I'll let you know. It could be a train wreck. It seems like someone, meaning Eric Schlick, is taking big swings. So I'm excited to see what this is all about. All right, guys, that is my group. Maybe some of those sound interesting to you. I don't know. We'll see what I get through. I'm not going to stress about it, but if I get through a good portion of that or even half of it, I would be thrilled. But you'll know in probably a week or two when I do my wrap up. So compiling my best of lists. I right now have 20 best of the year, and I would love to hear from you if you want me to do like a full 20. Would that bore you? Should I break it up and do like 11 through 20 as one and then 1 through 10? And I don't really have, except for like my top 5, I don't really, the rest of them are just kind of like, oh, this was really great and I loved it. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know below. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you're all having a great day. Hopefully, if you're in the holiday season, maybe you're off work now or you're about to be off work. All of those things I hope for you. I hope you get some time to relax, to read, to watch movies, to watch Netflix, whatever you do on your time off. Okay, thanks, and I'll see you soon.